Today I want to discuss completing the square. So this is an important technique that's often misunderstood by a lot of people. So let's say we have the quadratic equation ax squared plus bx plus c. Then we can write it in this form, where a is the first coefficient and h and k are two other integers. We can use completing the square for solving quadratic equations. We can use it for finding the center of a circle. Okay. So now that we know the applications of completing the square, let's go ahead and try a sum where we actually use completing the square. Okay, so let's say we have this expression here, x squared plus 2x minus 7 is equal to 0. So the first thing we do is to see whether we can do ordinary factorization to get the answer for this. So as you can see, I'm going to try a cross here. 117 minus 1. Nope. This cannot be factorized using the cross method. So we can't find the solution using the cross method. The second solution would obviously be to use the quadratic formula. X equals minus b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac over 2a, in case you forgot. So we can either use the cross method, we can use the quadratic formula, or we can complete the square. Okay, for the sake of this example, we're going to use completing the square instead of the quadratic formula. Okay, so let's say we have the expression. I'm going to write it again here. X squared minus 2x plus 2x minus 7 is equal to 0. Okay, so now I'm going to complete the square, okay, to find the values of x. So the first step in completing the square is to map out the values of x onto one portion. I'm going to put the values of x in one bracket, okay, because I'm kind of estimating that I have to find a quadratic expression which includes x squared plus 2x, but does not include minus 7, because minus 7 just doesn't work in this case. So I'm going to have x squared plus 2x inside a bracket. Then I'm going to leave a space over here. I'm going to leave a space, and I'm going to continue outside the bracket minus 7. I'm going to leave another space here so we can subtract this off later. I've explained why. Equal to 0. Okay, so now I can sort of see that we can make an expression from here. We can add an integer over here that allows us to easily factorize this. And I can see from instinct that this is going to be 1, but I'll just give you the formula as to how we can find this blank here. So the formula for finding this blank is the value of b, which is 2. Okay, divided by 2. So b over 2 squared. Okay, so the value of b is 2. 2 over 2 squared, which is 1 squared, which is 1. So the value here is going to be plus 1. And since we added plus 1 here, we have to subtract it off because it was never a part of the original expression. So we can't just add a value, we need to subtract it off to balance the equation. So I'm going to do that in the next step. Okay, we already found the value which is inside the bracket is going to be 1. So to balance this, to get back the original form, we have to subtract off the 1 before we solve. So since we're adding 1 inside, we have to subtract the 1 here. So it's just going to be minus 1 here equals 0. Okay, now step 3, simplify it. X squared plus 2x plus 1 minus 8 is equal to 0. Now, but that's we still have to factorize this. So as you can see, x squared plus 2x plus 1 is factorable by the cross method. What's that going to be? 1, 1, 1, 1. So x squared plus 2x plus 1 using the cross method is going to be x plus 1 minus 8 is equal to 0. Okay, so now we have x plus 1 times x plus 1, which can also be written as x plus 1 whole square minus 8 is equal to 0. So now if we try to match it against the original form, the value of a will be 1, the value of h will be 1, and the value of k will be minus 8. So we've written x squared plus 2x minus 7 equals 0 in the form x plus 1 square minus 8 is equal to 0. So now let's find the values of x based on this expression. Okay, so what did we get? We got x plus 1 whole square minus 8 is equal to 0. this was the version after completing the square. So now our aim is to find the value of x. Okay, so just like we do for ordinary expressions, we want to isolate the values of x on one side and the non-values of x on the other side. So x minus 1 square is equal to 8. So now to remove the square on this side, technically we have to do a factor of both sides. So this will be the square root of x minus 1 square is equal to plus minus the square root of 8. This can be plus minus because we're squaring the side, so either the value is negative or positive. It will still become positive at the end of the day, so we have to add the plus minus here. So if we do a square root of x minus 1 whole square, you just get x minus 1, and the square root of 8 is plus minus the square root of 2 square root of 2. So as we can see from here, I'm going to move the non-value of x to the other side. So it will be 1 plus minus square root 2 square root 2 plus 1. Okay, I'm going to write that as 1 plus minus 2 square root of 2. So we can essentially write this, there are two values of x obviously because it's a quadratic equation. So we have x equals 1 minus 2 square root of 2 and x equals 1 plus 2 square root of 2. If we had used the quadratic formula earlier, we would have gotten the same answer. So completing the square is one way to find the value of x.